Hello guys, and welcome back to the Sovereignty Masterclass. I hope you're all doing very well. This is a very, very important module that we'll be covering today, and it is to do with the certificate of the identity. Now, if you see on my screen, which you should be able to see, is the new and improved so-called CPAS, or the certificate of the identity, that I have created based on some really, really good research, which is what I'm going to base this whole module around, to educate now you guys, to get you up to speed and show you exactly what this is saying and what does it mean for you if you want to go about and create this certificate of identity for yourself, which is very important that you do. So, start things off. We'll just follow along on this sheet. In this module, we will be covering a very important topic, which is paramount for freedom within the system. Our identity is what we declare it to be. And as we know, by default, the identities they have given us with all of their paperwork, whether it be passports, licenses, or IDs, are all made in the dead corporate name, all capital, omdiged. That only exists on paper. We've seen how we can amend that assumption on those documents by making joinder to that and stamping our living status, which is important we do. However, because we now know how to establish our own court of office as sovereigns at our address and register important documents ourselves, we are able to administer and create whatever form of ID cards we wish to be recognised by within this game of life. The same goes to any document, contract, treaty, or trust we wish to create. Like any vessel that is travelling upon the high seas, it must always have on display its identity, brackets name, and flag of origin, where it was registered, as well as its intentions. When we carry around their documents and licenses that they have given us, we automatically fall under their jurisdiction and become joinder to the dead name, and thus treated as such. Now, if we produce a document of identification that is registered to ourselves in the correct name, written in the correct grammar, as you can see here, we can reserve all of our rights and declare our sovereignty within those four corners of our identification document. We can then put those public agents on notice our wishes to be identified in such a way and go about our business in the private, full knowledge of our God-given rights, which are protected and upheld by the international law. Even at a commercial level, we can derive many benefits when formulating our certificate of identity. We can start playing the game and carry at all times our own documents that represent who we truly are and what we stand for, which is sovereignty, freedom, truth, respect, etc. We must always learn the law of the lands and the seas and be able to recite our rights to any agents of the game who stand in the way of our God-given freedom, something a certificate of the identity will act to rectify, which is exactly what you see here. So by the end of this module, you will know exactly what this is saying, and you'll be able to interpret it, go away, do one yourself, and understand all these terms here: diplomat, frank to taxes. Guys, this is a brilliant, brilliant module. Like this knowledge, what I've created here, weaved all together, is going to be so very important for you to have on your person in order to get these guys to bugger off and leave you alone, especially with what potential we could be heading into, given that this is off the back of potential rollout of, the vaccine passport situation and restriction of travel, freedom and rights, which is just so anti-constitutional and anti-humane. We must find a solution, and I have, and so it's up to us again to stand up for our rights and make sure we defend them, because our governments are not going to defend them. I'll just keep that there. Actually, I'll get rid of that. So we're going to work through this document. You will have, once again, all the necessary links to the documents and PDFs on your Dropbox link, which will be on the PDF sheet that you receive, for you to go through in your own time. But this document right here has all the necessary notes that we'll be going through systematically, which will build on itself, and it's so bloody powerful that I recommend you read this thing 5, 6, 7, if not 8 to 10 times over. So you just remember this off the back of your head, because not only are we going to go through how to create this certificate of identity, we're going to break down the components as to what are we quoting, and what are we coming in as, what are we going to be identified as in, with the correct language, with all these new terms that you see in the certificate, like the French terminologies under the UPU, all these different logos, obviously the quantum grammar, and everything else that goes with it. So it's kind of like a certificate or ID on steroids, so to speak. So we'll go through